I'm Whelan Barzey from the British Blacklist, and today I'm joined by Tamara Lawrance and Letitia Wright, who star as June and Jennifer Gibbons in the new film, The Silent Twins. Before I go any further, I'd like to ask you both to take a deep breath, if that's all right. And what did that do for you, Letitia?
Gave me a nugget of peace.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. Just like a release a bit of tension.
Thank you. For me, allow me to take in that BIFA award from yesterday. Woo! Coming in strong for the best joint lead performances, guys. I want to congratulate you. And,
Thank you. What a way to congratulate.
That's so funny. Thank you.
No worries. My first question is, please could you tell me a bit about your roles and also about the film? I'll start with you tomorrow, if you don't mind.
Thanks. Yeah, I play Jennifer Gibbons. Yeah, she is one half of a pair of identical twins. She is creative. She's funny. She's quite mercurial. She is. She harbored a lot of insecurity, I think, which manifested in kind of wanting to dominate and take the lead sometimes. She cared deeply for her sister. She was a romantic at heart. She was extremely socially anxious, and yeah, she was a bit of a renegade as well. She had definitely a rebellious streak in her.
Yeah, and yourself, Letitia?
Oh man, I play the second half of Jennifer, which is June Gibbons, and it's hard to kind of separate, their personalities because in so many ways they're so similar. But oh man, June is definitely super sensitive and definitely has a side to her that can sometimes come across as more gentle but I've also feel that about Jennifer too. Definitely always after creativity and trying to be a better version of herself. And really enjoys like that connection between her and her sister, especially when they're creating novels and stories.
And Radio Gibbons.
And Radio Gibbons, like she loves going into that world of adventure alongside her sister. They're similar but a little bit different too.
Thank you. I wanted to say that for me, I feel like the film itself and the story is the manifestation of the African proverb, if a child doesn't feel the warmth of a village, they'll burn it to the ground to feel the village, especially considering the earlier stages of their adolescence when they were acting out. And I think it also speaks to how society was full of hypocrites. Like, we accept mental health in specific forms and from specific people. When it looks a certain way and comes from a certain group of people, in this case black women, it's not received with the same empathy and compassion. I'd love for you guys to speak to that as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I read an article the other day about kind of microaggressions that black women experience, and one thing that stood out to me was this study that was done amongst people, shown various stimuluses, and people had to sort of like guess how different types of people were feeling about something. And when it came to the black women across the study, statistically, everybody assumed that their anger was more internally motivated, which made me really sad because there are so many things in society that kind of invoke rage, and obviously rage that's internalized can manifest as depression, can manifest as inflammation in the body as well. And I think we see a lot of these things in our community, stress-related diseases, and so that proverb as well. I think there's something about compression not having space to release. I think they said, even the twins said in the book somewhere, that like fire symbolically is about kind of like sex and sexuality as well. And I think there were so many parts of them that didn't get the chance to express because they were sort of delayed in their puberty, and their some of the experiences they had happened much later on in life. Yeah. So I completely agree with what you said.
What I was also wanted to say is that like in regards to, I guess, on a more positive light, as creatives, you guys literally have the power to reshape the narrative of the twins. Because doing reading and extensive research, not nearly as much as you guys, of course, I've read and saw that the words that were attached to them were strange, weird, and so on and so forth. But now when I'm reading reviews and hearing other people's opinions, it's heartbreaking, harrowing, personal. And I just feel like as creatives, how does that feel to be able to mold that narrative and I think correct it, because that's how they should have been seen in the very beginning.
That was mainly attached to the agreement, of why I wanted to take on the film. That was a part of it. I was like, if we're going to tell this film and if we're going to step into this arena of representing them again, then it has to be done with care and it has to be done with respect. And we have to show them three-dimensional and not just in a way that narrative will put out into the public that like really just brought them down and brought down their family and saw them as weird and difficult and whatever they were saying. It wasn't fully who they were. So this was an opportunity to represent them in a way that was just full-rounded, So I really wanted to do that as a producer. So did Tamara. So that felt really positive.
Thank you. And yourself, Tamara, how does that feel to be able to reshape the narrative?
Well, yeah, a huge honour. That was what everyone, the whole team, really hoped for with this story. We all felt a lot of compassion for what they experienced. So, the fact that has been translated is all that we could hope for, really.
I feel the sense of personal connection between you guys and the silent twins, or June and Jennifer Gibbons. I like to give them their names in this instance. Both of you have exercised the strength and power in silence. You don't really have much of a strong social media presence in that regard. And I know you took some time away for yourself from the spotlight, and I would just love to know how you gained like a affinity and connection with them for recognizing that sometimes not speaking and sometimes reserving that to yourself or your innermost circle is more powerful.
Thank you for these great questions, by the way. Yeah, definitely found that when we, looked deeper into the reasons why they were silent, it was a beautiful thing to discover that they used silence as a means of a like power and kind of like protesting, really, keeping the inner richness of who they are to themselves, because the world kind of threw them away in a sense without really knowing them. And I think in my own life I've been able to just see the power of just stepping away and just recharging with like the real world, sometimes I really love social media, like you get to connect and see the great things that everyone's doing around the world. And then sometimes it's good to take a step away. And I think I'm carrying that with me from what I've learned from the twins. Like silence is best, and it helps you to recharge, but it also helps you to grow the other parts of yourself that needs to be developed a little bit more.
Well, they say sometimes, that the greatest power you have is your no. And I think that was one of the things that the twins were doing. They were exercising a boundary in refusing to speak. I think June said in the documentary that they attempted to communicate and they realised that they weren't being understood. So she was like, if they can't understand us now, they won't understand us ever. I think that was something really astute about that observation, because it did continue. There was this misunderstanding that was the thread of their entire journey. And so, I think, personally and professionally, boundaries is important for every human being. I think it's like, on the journey of sort of like spiritual evolution, that's something that I'm constantly learning about. And with social media, I think it's a marketing tool, and we're the product in it. So I'm just like, I always want to feel like I have the choice in what I opt in and opt out of, and how, the fact that it's something that's even spoken about is like so ridiculous. But you know, fundamentally, you know, these things are about capital, and that's not something that I really want to engage in.
Thank you. And then in closing, you remember me. Let me humble myself. You don't remember me. You were my first ever interview.
Oh my God!
2 years ago.
For
When you were BAFTA Breakthrough and part of the initiative. Yeah, I know it's something you've also been recognised for as well. So I just wanted to quote you really, really quickly. And when I asked you how you emotionally decompress from roles, I think it was the Long Song at the time, you said it comes natural to do that because we're living in the real life ramifications of that story. And so coming off a set was painful for me. And sometimes to deep that, it doesn't come to an end. But being as part of a cast, this predominantly black cast, who survive against the odds and own their blackness against the odds, really laugh and take care of each other. I really learned that, and I realized that for your spirit to have a stronghold in the cast is very, very important. I celebrated my Jamaicanness in its lineage to celebrate and prosper despite everything we've been through. So I just wanted to say that I'm very happy to know that you two had each other throughout this creative journey and you lent on each other as real sisters.
Thank you.
Whelan.
So much.
Thank you
so much, Rose.